A high-priced defense attorney strides into Judge Caprio's courtroom alongside his affluent, overconfident client. Both wear smug grins, whispering under their breath as if the courtroom were a private joke between them, treating the entire proceeding like a performance they've already scripted to win. The case before them is no trivial matter, a reckless driving charge that almost ended a family's life. But this lawyer, notorious across Providence, has a reputation that precedes him. He's the man wealthy people call when they need their problems to vanish. His client, Aaron Boa, a spoiled trust fund heir who's never faced a single real consequence, is about to learn that money cannot always buy mercy. What neither realizes is that they're about to test Judge Frank Caprio's patience to its very limit, a place very few ever reach. And when this judge's patience snaps, careers crumble and arrogance meets justice head-on. So, before we proceed, hit that subscribe button because 98% of you watching haven't yet. And this case is about how arrogance inside a courtroom can ruin your life faster than any verdict ever could. By the end of this story, you'll watch a $500 per hour attorney lose not only his composure but his credibility, and his client lose more than his case, his freedom. All because they forgot one eternal rule. Never, ever mock the judge. So, here's the pressing question. What happens when a lawyer begins believing he's smarter than the system itself? You're about to find out. It's Friday morning, 11:20 a.m. sharp. The court calls the next case, Aaron Boa versus the state, represented by attorney Sam Lavender. Aaron, just 28, enters wearing a perfectly tailored designer suit that likely costs more than an average person's rent for 2 months. His costly sunglasses rest casually on his head. His Rolex gleaming under the courtroom lights. His entire demeanor dripping with entitlement. The kind of walk that screams he's never been told no. Close behind is Sam Lavender, 45, from the elite firm Lavender & Associates, one of Providence's most expensive defense firms. Every move radiates superiority. Polished leather briefcase, sleek tailored suit, and that unmistakable air of self-importance you can spot from across the room. They approach the bench together, whispering and smirking like kids at a private club. Only this isn't a lounge, it's a courtroom. Judge Caprio looks up calmly. "Mr. Boa, Attorney Lavender, good morning." Lavender responds with thinly veiled condescension. "Good morning, Your Honor. We're here regarding what I believe to be a grossly exaggerated, reckless driving charge." Judge Caprio repeats slowly, "Grossly exaggerated." "Before we continue, Mr. Lavender, before discussing your opinion, let's review the facts." He turns to the defendant. "Mr. Boa, you're charged with reckless driving, excessive speed, 95 in a 35 zone, running a red light, and leaving the scene. Correct?" Aaron leans toward his lawyer, whispering something that makes them both stifle grins. Judge Caprio immediately catches it. "Mr. Boa, did you have something to share with the court?" "No, Your Honor," Aaron replies, a smirk still plastered on his face. Lavender steps in smoothly, trying to recover. "Your Honor, my client was merely clarifying details with me. As for the charges, we're ready to present context that significantly reframes the situation." "I'm listening," Judge Caprio replies evenly. Lavender begins. "My client is a graduate student at Brown University studying neuroscience. He was returning home from the library late at night when he encountered what he believed to be a medical emergency requiring immediate attention." Caprio raises an eyebrow. "A medical emergency?" Lavender nods confidently. "Yes, Your Honor. His mother called, reporting chest pains. My client, recognizing symptoms of possible cardiac arrest, acted swiftly to reach her, potentially saving her life." It sounds almost plausible until Judge Caprio flips open the police report. "Mr. Lavender," he says sharply. "According to Officer Martinez, your client was stopped 3 miles from a nightclub at 2:15 a.m., not coming from any library. His mother, when contacted, stated she made no such call and is in perfect health. Furthermore, your client's blood alcohol content was 0.09, just over the legal limit." The courtroom falls silent. A ripple of murmurs moves through the gallery. Lavender stands perfectly still, his face unreadable. But behind that polished exterior, cracks are beginning to show. "Your Honor," begins Lavender with practiced calm, "the breathalyzer results are being formally contested. My client had recently used alcohol-based mouthwash before being stopped, which may have caused a false positive reading." As he speaks, Aaron leans over and whispers something to him. This time both break into open smiles, their arrogance unmistakable. Judge Caprio's patience, already stretched thin, is visibly fraying. Mr. Boa, he says sharply, I'm asking you directly, why do you and your attorney find these proceedings so amusing? Aaron straightens, attempting to appear serious, but the smirk lingers. I don't find it amusing, Your Honor, he mutters. It's just all of this is absurd. The courtroom stiffens. Wrong words at the worst possible moment. Catastrophically wrong words. And hey, if you're watching and believe lawyers should defend clients instead of mocking justice, hit subscribe to Caprio, the Chief Judge, right now. Judge Caprio exhales slowly, then turns to the clerk. Let's review the dashcam footage from Officer Martinez, he says evenly. The screen flickers to life. Footage shows Aaron's Porsche tearing through traffic at terrifying speed, swerving between lanes like a missile, blasting through a red light, nearly sideswiping a minivan carrying a family. The minivan jerks violently, narrowly avoiding a utility pole. Aaron doesn't even slow down. The courtroom is silent, the tension palpable. This isn't a story of a son racing to save his mother. This is the story of a drunk, reckless driver almost destroying innocent lives. Judge Caprio's voice cuts through the silence. Mr. Lavender, that minivan carried a family of 4, 2 parents, 2 small children strapped in car seats. Your client missed them by inches. Lavender doesn't flinch. Your Honor, the video clearly shows my client maintained control of his vehicle at all times. No contact occurred. Caprio narrows his eyes. No contact occurred because the other driver swerved to avoid death. Your client forced them off the road. Lavender pushes back, tone measured. With respect, Your Honor, the word force is inflammatory. My client was merely exercising his right to what, Mr. Lavender? Caprio interrupts sharply. To drive drunk through a residential neighborhood at 95 miles per hour. Aaron leans in again, whispers, and Lavender almost laughs. That's it. Judge Caprio's hand slams on the bench, echoing. Mr. Boa, Mr. Lavender, what exactly is so amusing about proceedings that detail how you nearly killed a family? Lavender straightens instantly, regaining his professional mask. Your Honor, I apologize if our attorney-client consultation appeared disrespectful. That was never our intent. Caprio leans forward, icy tone. Then what is your intent, Mr. Lavender? Because from where I sit, you and your client are treating this court like a stage for your arrogance. Lavender keeps composure. Your Honor, we're confident in our defense. My client exercised poor judgment but caused no actual harm. We're prepared to accept a reduced charge of improper lane usage, pay a fine, and move forward. The audacity in his tone is astonishing. Judge Caprio's gaze hardens. You're prepared to accept? Mr. Lavender, you do not dictate terms in my courtroom. Of course not, Your Honor, Lavender replies quickly. I'm merely suggesting a fair resolution that serves justice without unnecessary. He is cut off by another whisper from Aaron, this time caught clearly by the microphone. This is taking forever. I have plans at 3. The air freezes. Every person in the courtroom goes completely silent. Judge Caprio's expression shifts. Mr. Boa, he says slowly, voice like steel, did you just say you have plans at 3? Aaron blinks, realizing his blunder, scrambling to cover it. Your Honor, I just meant, Caprio interrupts. You meant, he says, tone now icy, that this court, addressing charges that could have resulted in the deaths of multiple innocent people, is an inconvenience to your social schedule? Lavender tries to interject, but by now, the damage is done. The entire courtroom feels it. The shift in energy that always precedes judgment. Your Honor, begins Lavender, tone wavering for the first time, my client simply misspoke under stress. Judge Caprio's gaze hardens instantly. Your client misspoke, he repeats slowly. Or your client just revealed exactly what both of you truly think of these proceedings. The air grows thick with tension. Judge Caprio rises from his seat. When he stands, the entire courtroom instinctively falls silent, sensing something serious is about to unfold. Mr. Lavender, he begins, voice calm but laced with controlled anger. In my 35 years on this bench, I've encountered every type of defense attorney imaginable. Good ones, bad ones, aggressive, passive, but I have rarely seen one display such blatant contempt for the judicial process. Lavender stammers, Your Honor, I have no contempt, but Caprio cuts him off sharply. No contempt? You entered this courtroom spinning a fabricated story about a mother's heart attack. When that lie collapsed, you pivoted to a mouthwash excuse to challenge the breathalyzer. And throughout this hearing, you and your client have been whispering, smirking, treating this court like a stage for your arrogance. For the first time, Lavender's polished composure begins to crack. Your Honor, with respect, zealous defense is not contempt. Judge Caprio leans forward, eyes fixed on him. Zealous defense, Mr. Lavender. Lying to the court is not zealous defense. Coaching your client to invent false emergencies is not zealous defense. Treating a life-threatening charge like a joke is most certainly not zealous defense. The prosecutor rises suddenly. Your Honor, if I may add something to the record. Caprio nods. Proceed. The prosecutor continues firmly, this is Mr. Boa's third reckless driving charge in less than 2 years. Both prior cases were handled by Mr. Lavender and conveniently reduced to minor traffic violations with small fines. We appear to be witnessing a pattern, an attorney gaming the system for wealthy clients. Murmurs ripple through the courtroom. Lavender's face flushes crimson. Your Honor, that's completely baseless. Is it baseless, Mr. Lavender? Caprio asks, voice dangerously low. Or is it accurate? And then, in a stunning display of arrogance, Aaron speaks up. Your Honor, I pay my attorney well to get results. That's how the system works. The courtroom collectively gasps. Even Lavender pales, horrified his own client said this aloud. Judge Caprio's reply is cold, razor-sharp. That's how the system works? Mr. Boa, you believe justice is something you can buy? You think that because you can afford a $500 an hour lawyer, you can endanger families, lie under oath, and walk away with a fine? Your Honor, I didn't mean. Aaron stammers, but Caprio cuts him off. You meant exactly what you said. And as for you, Mr. Lavender, your client just admitted in open court that you've been manipulating legal outcomes for money. Do you have anything to say? Lavender visibly panics. Your Honor, my client is under stress. He's not articulating himself clearly. Caprio's tone turns to steel. On the contrary, Mr. Lavender, he articulated himself perfectly. This is a game to both of you. A spoiled young man who's never faced real consequences and a lawyer who's built a career making those consequences vanish. He pauses, letting the words slice the silence. And for everyone watching, his voice grows firmer. Don't forget to subscribe for moments when the system fights back against arrogance and corruption. Slowly, Judge Caprio sits again, but the warmth usually present is gone, replaced by absolute firmness. Mr. Boa, here's what's going to happen, he declares. The reckless driving charge stands. Excessive speed stands. Leaving the scene stands. You are sentenced to 90 days in county jail with 60 days suspended pending completion of a 1-year probation, which includes mandatory substance abuse counseling. Aaron pales. Jail? Your Honor, I'm a student. No, Caprio replies sternly. You are a repeat offender who nearly killed a family and treated it like a joke. 30 days in jail, starting immediately. Your Honor, please. Aaron pleads, but Caprio remains unmoved. Additionally, your license is suspended for 18 months. You'll complete 200 hours of community service and pay $2,500 in fines. Lavender, desperate, interrupts. Your Honor, this sentence is excessive for a first time, Mr. Lavender? Caprio cuts sharply. This is his third reckless driving case in 2 years. And each time, you pulled strings to minimize punishment. That ends today. Your Honor, I request time for my client to get his affairs in order. Request denied, Caprio says flatly. He turns to the bailiff. Bailiff, take Mr. Boa into custody immediately. The sound of the gavel slamming echoes through the courtroom, final, decisive, utterly deserved. Aaron's face pales, composure finally shattering. What? No, Your Honor. I can't go to jail right now, he stammers, desperation rising. Judge Caprio fixes him with a steady, unflinching gaze. You should have thought of that before you decided to drive drunk at 95 miles per hour through a residential neighborhood, he says, tone firm and final. As officers move toward Aaron, Lavender steps forward in one last frantic attempt. Your Honor, I'm filing an immediate appeal, he blurts. Caprio doesn't flinch. File whatever you wish, Mr. Lavender, he replies sharply, but your client is going to jail today. The words hang heavy. Then Judge Caprio turns fully to the defense attorney. Mr. Lavender, he says coldly, I'll also be filing a formal complaint with the Rhode Island Bar Association regarding your courtroom conduct. Lavender's face drains of color, confident facade gone. Your Honor, what conduct, he asks weakly. Caprio begins listing it, each word landing like a gavel strike. Presenting fabricated evidence about a supposed medical emergency. Coaching your client to lie about using mouthwash to explain a false breathalyzer result. Displaying open contempt for this court and its process. Establishing a pattern of helping wealthy clients escape accountability for serious crimes. Lavender's voice trembles as he tries to defend himself. Your Honor, those are serious allegations. Caprio leans forward, tone icy. They're not allegations, Mr. Lavender. They're documented facts from this proceeding and your prior cases. The Bar Association will determine if your behavior meets professional standards, but from where I sit, it's deeply unethical. In that moment, Lavender's career flashes before him. He knows what a bar complaint means: professional ruin, a tarnished reputation, and the possible end of his legal practice. Your Honor, he pleads, I was only providing zealous representation. Caprio shakes his head slowly. No, Mr. Lavender, you weren't zealous. You were gaming the system, and that ends today. Behind them, Aaron is being led away in handcuffs, still shouting, this is insane. My father will hear about this. Our lawyer will. Your lawyer, Caprio interrupts, is about to have problems of his own. Mr. Boa, focus on your situation. The bailiffs escort the young man out as Lavender stands frozen, mechanically gathering his papers, the weight of his downfall sinking in. Judge Caprio then addresses the full courtroom, voice resonating with calm authority. Ladies and gentlemen, he says, what you witnessed today is what happens when people start believing that money can buy freedom from accountability. The packed gallery listens, hanging on each word. Mr. Boa came in here convinced his wealth and expensive attorney could make serious charges disappear. And Mr. Lavender believed he could manipulate this court as he has manipulated outcomes before. Just then, an elderly woman in the front row slowly rises. Your Honor, she says softly, may I speak? Caprio nods. Go ahead, ma'am. She straightens, emotion trembling in her voice. My name is Margaret Chin, she begins. I was in that minivan from the video you showed. My grandchildren were in the back seat. The courtroom goes absolutely silent. That man almost killed my family. When his car flew through that intersection, my son had to swerve so hard we nearly flipped. My granddaughter has had nightmares for weeks, and he just kept driving, didn't stop, didn't look back, didn't care. Her voice cracks as tears fill her eyes. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for making him face what he did. The room is utterly still. Judge Caprio's expression softens as he looks at her. Mrs. Chin, he says gently, I am deeply sorry for what you and your family endured. I'm grateful you're all safe. She nods quietly, wiping her tears, and sits down. Caprio turns back to the courtroom, tone firm again. This, he says, is what Mr. Boa and Mr. Lavender treated as a joke. A family nearly killed, children traumatized, yet they sat here whispering and smiling as if none of it mattered. He pauses, scanning the room, voice steady but emotional. I've been a judge for 35 years. I believe in mercy, lessons learned, and second chances, but respect for justice must come first. His voice carries the weight of wisdom as he declares, I believe in rehabilitation, and most people who make mistakes deserve a fair chance to make things right. Calm but firm, eyes sweeping the courtroom, he continues, but I also believe in accountability. When someone repeatedly endangers innocent lives and shows no genuine remorse, when an attorney manipulates the system for wealthy clients to escape justice, the system must respond decisively. A young man in the back row stands up respectfully. Your Honor, I'm a public defender. May I say something? Caprio nods. Thank you, the man begins, voice steady and passionate. I represent people who can't afford attorneys like Mr. Lavender. They make mistakes, even the same ones Mr. Boa made, but they face the full weight of the law. No reduced charges, no loopholes, no second chances, just consequences. He gestures toward where Aaron had stood. That young man has been arrested 3 times for reckless driving. 3 times. And each time he walked away with almost nothing, while my clients, those who can't pay $500 an hour, go to jail for a single mistake. That's not justice. What you did today, Your Honor, this is justice. Equal application of the law, regardless of wealth. The courtroom erupts in applause. Even the prosecutor nods approvingly. Judge Caprio smiles slightly. Thank you, counselor. You're absolutely right. Justice cannot be bought or sold. The law applies equally to all, or it applies to no one. He turns to the cameras. Where are you watching from? Comment your city if you believe wealth should never buy immunity. His tone sharpens. Mr. Lavender built a career exploiting loopholes and twisting outcomes for wealthy clients. Today, that career suffered real damage. The Bar Association will investigate, and they should. And Mr. Boa believed his trust fund made him untouchable. Today, he learned the court doesn't care about your bank account. It cares about your behavior. He leans forward slightly. Some might think 30 days in jail is harsh, but let me tell you what's truly harsh: nearly killing a family and laughing about it. Driving drunk at 95 miles per hour through a residential neighborhood and being irritated your court hearing interrupts your day. That's harsh. He lifts the gavel, pausing for a heartbeat. This courtroom exists to protect communities from those who believe rules don't apply to them. It exists to remind lawyers that their duty is to justice, not the wealthy. And it exists to make one thing clear: no matter your money or your attorney's prestige, your actions have consequences. He looks toward the gallery. Mr. Boa will spend the next 30 days reflecting on the family he nearly destroyed. Mr. Lavender will spend the next few months explaining his ethics to the Bar Association. And hopefully, every other high-priced lawyer and privileged client watching will take note: this court is not for sale. With a sharp crack of the gavel, the room falls silent. Subscribe to Caprio, the Chief Judge, right now for more moments where justice triumphs over money, accountability defeats arrogance, and the system protects those who cannot protect themselves. Aaron Boa had entered with a smug grin and left in handcuffs. His attorney entered confident and left facing a career-threatening bar complaint. Judge Frank Caprio, standing resolute in his robe, proved that day what every citizen must remember: wealth might buy a good lawyer, but it can never buy immunity from justice. This is what true accountability looks like. This is what equal justice feels like. And this is exactly why some judges don't just serve the law, they define its legacy.